What is going on, everyone? We finally got a big update when it comes to Valorant's lore. Not only with voicemails and emails, but an entire new home screen which is extremely lore related. I'm really excited for this because it looks like Riot is shifting their focus back a little bit to the lore of the game, which has really been lacking lately and very slow. I do hope this all comes with an actual lore cinematic sometime soon. Okay, so let's actually get into the updates, starting off with the new home screen. The home screen showcases Pheonix sitting on a red chair while being surrounded by fire. This is most likely symbolism to how Pheonix is feeling mentally, because we know that Pheonix has not been acting like himself lately. In Waylay's reveal cinematic, we got a shot of Pheonix who is usually incredibly confident and cocky, if you've watched basically any other episode cinematic, but this time it looks like he's almost vulnerable and he even freezes up and seems to not be able to fight back. Luckily for him and the team, Waylay shows up and bails them out, almost entirely on her own as she is very skilled in combat. After all this happened, Vice emailed Brimstone in patch 10.04, letting him know that someone needs to check up on him, and although she isn't an expert, she believes that whatever is going on with Pheonix will take more than a simple pep talk. And with Waylay now part of the Valorant protocol, she also notices that Pheonix doesn't have any outgoing calls, and that his external mailbox is full of unreads. Waylay points out to Brimstone in patch 10.05 that they're looking at the situation wrong and shouldn't be judging Pheonix on how he's fighting right now as an agent, but instead look to him as a person and try to help him with what he's dealing with. In patch 10.07, Pheonix finally reached out and contacted someone from the outside by the name of M. Adeyemi, clearly a close family member of his as Pheonix's name is Jamie Adeyemi. We also saw the name Adeyemi on a poster that Pheonix glanced at while he was walking by in Tejo's cinematic. Now back to the actual home screen, with Pheonix sitting down and it looks like he's listening to music and is really feeling his emotions. We know that Pheonix does have the ability of fire, which he can use to heal himself either as a wall or a molly. But in this moment here, the fire has circled around him, and it has even caused the chair that he's sitting on to begin burning away. This makes me think that the fire that we're seeing is more inside of his head rather than it being physical, speaking to how he's feeling in his mind. And what's really interesting is that Riot is telling us what Pheonix is thinking about. On the ground, we get a reflection of Pheonix's chair, except we don't get a reflection of Pheonix himself. Instead, there is another person sitting on the chair wearing blue clothing. Another detail is that if you follow the headphones that Pheonix is wearing, they lead to a device that the person in the reflection is holding and controlling. This person may be who Pheonix recently contacted and tried to reconnect with. And to add on, we can also see a building in the background mixed in with the flames. The shape and design of this building is very similar to the theater that burned down in Pheonix's childhood. And we can see the same building in one of Pheonix's player cards which shows it on fire. And since Pheonix was a theater kid, and this image has the same building as well as this person, I'm wondering if the two of them are connected to each other. Where Pheonix might have went to this theater school with this person, who may just be his sibling or parent that goes by M. Adeyemi, or it could be someone completely different like a close friend, and whatever that caused this theater to burn down resulted in their separation, which has haunted Pheonix deep down all these years. And he could be remembering their voice or certain types of music that was once played to him by this person in the past. Alternatively, this could also just be Pheonix himself in the reflection before he became a Radiant. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section for this one. Up next, we have some Brimstone lore, which is going to be slightly connected to KO's lore as well. But before I get into that, I want to tell you guys about my line of PCs with Apex Gaming PCs. If you're someone who's struggling to rank up in their games or even play the game properly because your PC can't handle it, and you're experiencing lagging or low FPS, then it's time for you to upgrade your PC and take advantage of the limited time deals that Apex Gaming PCs has to offer. Whether you're a casual gamer, competitive gamer, or a content creator, Apex Gaming PCs has a huge category of PCs to choose from. Personally myself, because I record my gameplay and spend a lot of time editing and rendering videos, I would be looking towards something like the Apex Streamer Plus. Just because it does come with that stronger CPU and beefy graphics card which I would need for these things, not to mention the 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. But if you just want to get something that will run your games like butter without any issues, aside from the Streamer Plus, there is also the Apex Streamer, which I would strongly recommend, especially if you are someone who's competitive and wants to rank up in their games. You also have the ability to finance your PC, so you don't even have to pay it all up front at once. And on top of existing promotions, you can use my personal code NIBBLE on checkout for an additional 5% off your order, which does stack on top of promotions which are already active on the website. So check out Apex Gaming PCs and get in on these deals while you can. Alright, back to the lore story on Brimstone. In this scene here, we have Brimstone and KO back to back shooting off into the distance. What I like about this image here is that nothing you see is happening in the present. Brimstone and KO fighting alongside each other is symbolic to what happens in the future of Valorant's lore. And the shattered glass below, which has their reflections as well as these two other figures, is symbolic to the past. In Brimstone's past, before creating and leading the Valorant protocol, Brimstone used to be a firefighter and then moved on to serve in the military. Throughout Brimstone's childhood and career, he had a very close friend by the name of Tariq Porter. Not only was Tariq friends with Brimstone as children, but the two of them became firefighters and served in the military together. The two were basically brothers and did everything together. At some point during their time in the military, Tariq Porter went on to losing his life in the battlefield. This is shown in this player card with Brimstone carrying a body in the distance. On the left we can see a fire truck in a burning building, while on the right there is a Humvee, which is a military vehicle, and both of these different scenes resembles the different positions that Brimstone and Tariq both served in together. There is a theory that Tejo could have been responsible for Tariq losing his life, as Tejo used to serve in the military together with Brimstone, and the two of them do not have a good relationship right now. On top of that, one of Tejo's player cards is titled Collateral, which shows an explosion happening in the reflection of his glasses, which could be a hint that he could be the reason why Tariq was killed. The two reflections that we see on the glass is of Brimstone and Tariq when they were children, and it just goes on to show that Brimstone deeply cared and loved his friend, which he has lost. And for the story on Brimstone and KO, if you don't know KO's lore, I strongly suggest you watch my video on it, but basically KO is from an alternate timeline in the future. In that timeline, the world falls into a big war between Radiants and humans, which is said to be caused by Reyna, who leads the Radiant side. During this war, the Earth basically gets destroyed and a lot of lives are lost, including many of the human agents in the Valorant protocol, as they all get divided and fight each other as well. One of the people who die in this war is Brimstone, and KO sees Brimstone as his very close friend and cares deeply for him, which causes him to feel grief and pain despite him being a robot. Because of this, KO decides to travel across universes and has come to our current timeline, where he wants to make sure that he prevents this war from ever starting, and also protecting Brimstone at all costs because he doesn't want to lose his close friend again. There is a theory that KO is actually Tariq Porter, who had his mind and consciousness put into KO's body, which explains why he's so protective over Brimstone and goes to such great lengths to protect him and save him from what happens in the future. One of KO's player cards show him carrying Brimstone's body after he had been killed in the Radiant War, and it looks very similar to the one Brimstone has of carrying Tariq. So there is a very good chance that KO might just be Tariq Porter from the alternate timeline. In the key art for KO, we also get to see KJ and Raze in the background holding each other with their heads touching. Now, to me, I feel like this could be taken in two different ways. The first one being that they're simply sharing an emotional moment of connection together because they're in a relationship. But it also almost looks like a goodbye, especially when you know that something bad is about to happen. This is kind of one of the hugs that you give with the heads touching and eyes closed. I don't really know what exactly it means here, but I'll let you guys throw your ideas in the comment section below. Moving on, we got some lore on Sage. There isn't really anything that's necessarily revealed or progressed here for Sage, as we can see her with a worried look and crystals forming on the side of her face. These crystals were first seen here in KO's key art, where it was much less, but here it has grown more and is continuing to spread. We know that as the healer of the team, Sage is responsible for not only healing the agents, but also bringing them back to life if they are killed. Every time an agent dies in a cinematic, the reason we see them again and again is because Sage brings them back to life. We know that she has a very high sense of care and protectiveness over her teammates, and this goes to show that she may be feeling overwhelmed with such a high level of responsibility. We can see more images of Sage in the crystals themselves, with what looks to be looks of fear and sadness, as she is overwhelmed with the idea that she needs to save everybody. And last but not least, the one that has everyone talking, we got to see some lore on Reyna's little sister Lucia. Lucia is Reyna's little sister who is very sick and on the verge of dying. At some point in the past, an event took place that we currently do not know about yet, which involved Lucia entering this critical state. We don't know exactly what her condition is, but we do know that Viper is working together with Reyna to find a cure. And for some reason that we don't know about, Sage is actually unable to heal Lucia with her powers. And even with Viper's help, she is unable to find a traditional medicine to help Lucia, but she has instructed Reyna to go out and collect souls in order for her to convert them into life energy for Lucia to use. This is how they have been keeping Lucia alive all this time, with Reyna taking the souls of the people that she kills and giving them to her little sister so she can stay alive. Before we got this art of Reyna and Lucia, It wasn't too clear what her condition was as I mentioned, but it looks like Lucia is a Radiant just like Reyna. She has the same glow in her chest that Reyna does, which does imply that the two of them got their Radiance at the same time. However, since Lucia is much younger than Reyna, her body is probably just not strong enough to keep up with the demands of her Radiant form, which could explain why she is nearing death, because she needs a lot more energy than what her body is capable of providing. I really hope that the narrative team on Riot Games continues to give us more lore and cinematics on these agents and just the story in general. It's really fun and interesting because of how deep every agent's story goes and the connections that they have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drop a like if you did and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future lore videos and updates. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.